You're very welcome to the R.H.A. on this 27th of April. It was quite a dilemma what we would do 100 years after the building had burned down. I mean, it's not a celebration, it's not a commemoration, but it's a marking. And I'm delighted that we have a president in Dublin here this evening who did such a fabulous exhibition about 1960 and integrated within it the story of the academy. So now I'd like to introduce you to Mick, the president of the academy.
Patrick, and just welcome everybody here this evening. We're here to celebrate the launch of 3 fabulous books, catalogues, and also to remember that on this day, exactly 100 years ago, the Academy was utterly destroyed by fire as a consequence of collateral damage by shelling by the artillery of the British forces, naval and infantry. So it was that the Academy back in 1916 was on Lower Abbey Street. Many of you will know this. But I think that the story had been forgotten for a long, long time. A lot of people know about the Abbey Theatre's contribution to 1916, but very little was known about the fact that the biggest culture loss of Easter 1916 was the R.H.A. Now, the backdrop of our celebration tonight here for the launch of the books is our annual exhibition. It's the 186th annual R.H.A. exhibition. The R.H.A. was set up in 1823 to specifically promote Irish art, and that meant painting, sculpture, printmaking, and architecture. The current exhibition does exactly that, as well as distribute prizes and awards for outstanding contributions in all of those areas and more. So this year, when the exhibition opened, normally it opens in May, June, July for the summer exhibition, but we held it this year to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the destruction of the Academy. And one of the great pleasures that I have on the opening day is distributing what amounts to €55,500 in prizes for painting, sculpture, photography, printmaking and architecture. It's always a wonderful occasion to do that. The sales in the Academy are doing very well, and there are still many outstanding works of art that are available in all media, and I would encourage people to look at them closely and consider. I would also like to remember the painter Joseph Malachy Kavanagh, and I've mentioned this before at various events held here at the Academy and elsewhere. Joseph Malachy Kavanagh was one of the officers of the Academy in 1916. The keeper traditionally stayed in the Academy. They had their own apartment as well as studio, looked after the school, looked after the collection, looked after the prints, looked after the sculptures, etc. Locked the door and made sure the alarm was on, which was probably some kind of an Alsatian dog that patrolled the place. The annual exhibition of 1916, he locked the door on Easter Monday, and Dr. John Turpin is here. He contributed a wonderful essay in our catalogue for the annual exhibition, and this booklet, which is there's only 150 copies, his essay is also here, and it gives wonderful background to that. However, just to let you know that Joseph Malachy Kavanagh was working in the studio. He had locked the Academy. He knew that there was bullets, wild animals, various things happening outside the door. He was working on his own work upstairs in spite of all that, when on the Thursday, exactly this day 100 years ago, smoke started to engulf the building. There was no way that he could have saved it. All of Lower Abbey Street, that entire block out to O'Connell Street, belongs by the Keys, of which there's an excellent map there on the wall which will show you the extent of the Academy. That whole block started to become engulfed by flames. His life's work, much of it painted in France, as well as Antwerp, England and Ireland, was in the studio with him. As I heard somebody else earlier on today saying that you might be well known in Ireland, but that doesn't mean you're well off. and particularly just Malachy Kavanagh. Most of his work was with him in his studio. He abandoned the R.H.A. Having the entire exhibition engulfed by flames. He lost his work. The Academy's collection of paintings, sculptures, prints, photographs were totally destroyed. There was nothing left, including just a wonderful first edition of The Disasters of War by Goya. And I mean, an entirely appropriate body of work to be destroyed in that context. So he saved the Royal Charter and the President's Medal. So anytime at a function like this, I put on the President's Medal, I think of Joseph Malachy Kavanagh, who fled from the building holding this. He himself died within 2 years. He never really recovered from the devastating effects of that fire. He was 60 years of age in 1916. I think he was around 62. He may not have even reached his 62nd birthday when he died. So we remember him as well. Now the Academy was homeless then, it rented premises, was homeless until 1939, when our Professor of Anatomy, Oliver St. John Goverty, whose house was on this site. The site here was acquired from our Professor of Anatomy, Oliver St. John Goverty. Many of you know him from Ulysses and indeed from many other things. We were very proud as well that that tradition continues with our current association as well with the College of Surgeons. Professor Clive Lees, our current Professor of Anatomy. The building then, it serves various functions. Small events were in it. At the time, the building itself was a kind of a mock Tudor type structure, Victorian Tudor building. The keeper, I think one of the last keepers to live in it was John Kelly, Professor John Kelly, Senior, not to be this is very undignified, isn't it? Not to be mixed up with John Kelly Jr., who was also passed away. So Matt Gallagher, the builder-developer, then was convinced by senior moment. John Healy, the Mayo man, convinced the Sligo man that he'd made a lot of money from building houses in Ireland. He needed to do something more than just be known as a builder, a man that leaves concrete structures, much appreciated, probably even more so now today we could do with them, but that he needed to leave something culturally to his country. So he decided that he would build on the site, and this is the shell that was built. In the 1970s, the shell was built. Unfortunately, he died. His son didn't have the same enthusiasm. Eventually, the building was made exhibition ready in 1984. It was a shell of the building. In today's circumstances, it wouldn't have had an exhibition because health and safety would have certainly made sure that nobody would have been allowed into it. But the first show here in the current site was in 1984. It was the Guinness Peace Aviation Awards, and it was when the Guinness Peace Aviation really were putting a lot of money into Irish visual art, which is so important that Irish companies continue to do. And then the first R.H.A. exhibition since 1916 was held here in 1985, and we have been here since. And the building has gone through different stages since then. Many of you will remember where the stairs was. The most recent reconfiguration commenced just 10 years ago, and we now are the proud occupiers of the current situation. We still have a wonderful basement space downstairs, which is equal to the floor space of any of the current levels. There is a lot of plans for the basement. It's got a lot of height. It's got huge gallery potential. We're thinking about, we want a black box gallery space there that will be very, very versatile. We also have plans for a lecture theatre, as well as extensive storage facilities. The very good foresight of the Academy members at the last stage of the development was 10 years ago was to make sure that there was a stairs going down to the basement, so when the refurbishment comes we can access that. Now, so that's the current state that we're in. I mean, what is the R.H.A. annual exhibition? The annual R.H.A. exhibition is an unwieldy mixture of art from senior artists, mid-career artists, and people who've never shown before. It's really the only massive wild beast of an exhibition and that still exists in the country. There used to be the Living Art, which was set up to counteract the R.H.A. And then the independents were set up to counteract the Living Art. And eventually, in the by the late 1980s, the ideology that ensured that each of those exhibitions existed independently had dissipated. There was no more need for a Living Art, there was no more need for the independents. Really, a lot of the artists' co-ops, which were started under the independents, have now manifested themselves in galleries such as Temple Bar, as well as a lot of the art centres all over the country. So the current R.H.A. annual exhibition really is an amalgam of the tendencies within the Living Art, the Oireachtas exhibition, and the current R.H.A. exhibition. We've kind of become a much broader church and have attracted a far wider range of artwork in it. Now, we still at the annual show are interested in exhibiting the artefact, in other words, the object, be it sculpture, painting, drawing, print. The wonderful thing about tonight is that the programme board, which works in tandem and who the director steers, is launching 3 publications to celebrate the event of the 100 years. We're marking this 100 years by publishing 3 books, stroke catalogues by 3 outstanding artists that embrace the media, photography, performance, installation, and a lot more than that. The 3 exhibitions occurred in the gallery here over the past 12 months. The 3 publications, I'll Sing You a Song from Around the Town by Amanda Coogan. It's an amazing exhibition and like unbelievable attendances. And Amanda, I don't know where you get those vitamins, but we want them, you know, it was just fabulous. Mark Gary, a new, quiet, very sparse, light, amazing exhibition here as well. And David Farrell, whose work was here just prior to the annual exhibition. Fantastic show, arranged, and like the photographs, the prints, the way they were presented, and his whole take on 1916. And what we're really interested in, like our theme here in the Academy is tradition and innovation. The annual R.H.A. exhibition, which acts as the backdrop for the current launch of these publications, is about tradition and also innovation. And I think that the 3 publications that we're launching tonight by the 3 amazing artists, they're really innovators. So I'm delighted that you have come here to the Academy this evening to share a really significant moment in our lives, to remember the destruction of our Academy back on this day exactly 100 years ago, to also realise how far we have come, and our ambitions are to expand and go a lot further. So before I finish, there's a very good deal on the books. They are all individually priced, but I believe only today that you can get the 3 for €50. €50 is a piece of paper that some people work very hard for, we know. But I can guarantee, because these publications only run to editions of 500 each, you're investing in a publication that is really very, very important. The other person that I want to mention is Professor Kevin Whelan from Notre Dame. Kevin Whelan wrote a fantastic essay giving the general background in our annual exhibition catalogue give the background of 1916 in its broader context, so that with the catalogue has specific essays by Professor John Turpin, Professor Kevin Whelan gives us the more general one, and Emer O'Connor, who is also responsible for setting up the display here, where we have the map of where the R.H.A. was, where we have the charter, where we have the catalogue from 1916. She has an essay in the annual catalogue from the point of view of a painting, a portrait, a specific portrait that was in the R.H.A. when it was being painted in the studio, when it was brought to the annual exhibition, and then that portrait hanging on the wall, being aware of what paintings it was adjacent to and watching them burn. So, anyway, from the ashes, the phoenix has risen. Thank you very much. Thank you.